All right, welcome back to the channel. And today we are on day 2 of 50 apps in 50 days challenge. Okay, and this is day 2. If you're new here, um, yesterday we built a video journal application that allows you to basically record, a video of you, you know, discussing a topic, and it uh, takes that, generate social media, all types of social media posts for you, like tweets, you know, carousels, anything social media. It takes your video journal and generates social media posts for you, and that went great. But today we are doing something different, completely different here. Okay, today we are building a thumbnail generator. Okay, that is going to be so. We built a mobile application. Today is going to be a web application, and yeah, um, and why are we building? Why are we building a thumbnail generator? It's a real issue out there. If you are a creator, if you want to create, even if you're not a creator and you want to create on YouTube, one of the biggest problem is how to come out with thumbnails on YouTube. How do you create thumbnails on YouTube? It's difficult, okay? Those that have been doing it for years, or the pros, what they do is they have a studio where they have their camera set up where they can take professional photos. They have their graphic designer that puts everything together. And on top of that, you have to understand the YouTube or psychology of curiosity, or the psychology of a YouTube thumbnail in order to make it work. So it's not just straightforward. Um, so when you are starting out, this is something I've struggled with a lot, coming out with thumbnails, and I've been trying to find the easiest way. Now there are solutions, especially now that we have ChatGPT and Gemini Nano Banana. It's easier than ever to create thumbnails. Okay, um, I'll just share my screen a bit, but uh, I use a couple of solutions. Okay, one of them is uh, thumbnail creator. Okay, and as you can see, a couple of these thumbnails look familiar. Okay, if you clicked here, you would have seen one of these thumbnails before you came on, and yeah, it's not exactly the same because I made a bit, I iterated on this a bit. So this is what I came out with, but I had to uh, work on it a bit to come up with this version. Okay, um, to come out with this version, and then finally ended up with this version. Okay, so it's not perfect, but for me, it's expensive. I hate paying for expensive stuff. Um, you know, I'll just show you the cost here. Okay, so if we go to billing, it costs $30. Okay, for this application, and you get $30. You get 50 credits. That's about what, maybe they're not even up to 50 thumbnails, because uh, a thumbnail is about 3 credits. So you are really getting about 30, or I may be wrong here, about 30 thumbnails from this. But you can upgrade to $50 and then you get 100 credits. Okay. And um and it's just expensive. I'll show you why it's expensive in a second. Like I'll show you. I was doing a research, and I was doing a research earlier. Okay. And to generate 4 images on Google Gemini, that is Nano Banana, 0.04 per 4 images. Okay. And if you want to run some images through GPT-4, or you know, to analyze images, it's going to cost you zero point zero 0.01 per request. Okay. The YouTube Data API, okay, which this one uses, by the way, basically what happens is you copy your YouTube URL, paste it, and then it analyzes the video, gets the metadata, the title, description, um, you know, any information, and then goes to extract the transcript. And that is how it's able to create some sort of a context to know exactly what type of thumbnail to generate. Now, it's not as straightforward because they still do a lot of things in the background. Like they have high performing thumbnails in the background that they train the AI on. Let's look at their competitor out there. Their competitor out there is Time Magic, okay, and they are charging, exact same thing, $30, okay, and they are even a little bit more generous. Generous. They give you 100 thumbnails per month for $30, but you can only have one avatar. That means you can only have your face. If you want to have different faces on the thumbnail, it's going to be difficult for you. You have to upgrade to their $60 plan to be able to upload up to 10 avatars. Okay. So for complex thumbnails, this is not going to work. They know what they're doing here. They're targeting the beginner here, the starter here that just needs their face on the thumbnail. Okay. And they don't really want to do any of the work. But they give you 500 thumbnails per month for $60. And you're able to replicate a template, which is what I like about this. But it's still expensive. It's like going to I I hate when I go to a restaurant, like an expensive restaurant to go order some food and sitting there eating and I'm like, oh, I can make this food at home. Like I can make this myself. It's sort of like that. Like I'm like, why should I pay for this when I can just make this myself? And someone is gonna say, Nelson, I can just go to ChatGPT directly. I can just go to Nano Banana and generate my own thumbnails. Yes, 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 that's true. You can do that. And I just tried it. And this is what you're gonna come up with, you know. This is what you're gonna come up with when you do that, you know. I just tried this and this is the thumbnail it came out with. Now you tell me, like, is this good enough to like use as a thumbnail? If you use this thumbnail, you get 0 views. That's for sure. Because you can just easily tell this is AI generated. The background, the person doesn't even look real. They may actually look kind of realistic if you were a Mangaji, his thumbnails will look, he's almost like perfect, right? So yeah, like this will get you nowhere, but there is a workaround to doing this. It's not straightforward. So what these guys are actually selling here is prompting. They are selling a prompt. Okay. They are saying, oh, behind the scene, we will do the work for you. So you don't have to think about coming out with a prompt, coming out with coming out with the best prompt to generate thumbnails. We are the thumbnail experts here, and you don't have to think about it. Okay, which is great. But if you know how to prompt a bit, you can just go to Gemini. Okay, like this thumbnail I just came up with. Okay, I just went to Gemini. If you just go to Gemini and say, give me a thumbnail, this is my topic, this is what my video is about, it's going to generate a generic thumbnail like the one I just showed you. Okay, so maybe sometimes you want your face in the thumbnail, right? You can do that as well. Like I did here, I uploaded a photo of myself, which looks like a Mark shot, by the way. Who is this? you know, and and this is for my other channel, by the way, which is a reaction channel. A fun fact: this channel used to be a reaction channel, and I wanted to build more of a personal brand, so I switched it over. But I still have another channel where I just go shoot a shit, just react to random stuff, especially pop the balloon, or fan love challenge. Okay. Um, hey, yes, yes, Vukan, yes, you can. Sorry, yes, you can. I butchered your name. Hi, welcome to the stream. Um, if thanks and yes, 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 welcome to the stream. So yeah, so um, but you can tell that the prompt here is really well detailed in order to just arrive at this. Okay, and it did a great job. but look at my face. It's just plain face. Like, okay, this is supposed to be a reaction thumbnail. So I should be reacting. So, okay, I went and took a screenshot of someone actually reacting with a facial reaction, uploaded my photos again, gave it a prompt, referenced every image within the prompt, and this is what I came out with. Way much better. Okay. So, yeah, you can do that, but what these guys are doing is they are providing a little bit of convenience, right? And if you can replicate what they are doing, you can basically go build your own, like what we're about to learn here today. You can basically, and I'm going to release this on GitHub, by the way, public. You can download it, modify. You can build your own, put a paywall behind it, and charge half the price. Okay, um, charge half the price, and if you can market, you can, you know, market for much cheaper because this is ridiculous how much you're being charged here just to, just to generate thumbnails. But that is where we are at. Okay, either this or you go use Gemini. Okay, so that is what we are going to be building today. Okay, this is day two. This is day two. So we're going to be building a thumbnail generator. So I'm going to just show you quickly what that is going to look like. Okay, so uh, what's that going to look like? I'll show you what the user flow, um, what the user flow looks like. Not that this. Okay, so basically what we're trying to achieve here is that okay, what we're trying to achieve here is that a user, okay, comes into the application, and then they paste their YouTube URL. The YouTube URL, we send that to YouTube APIs to get metadata that is uh, title, description tags, channel, and then we also extract a transcript from the video so we can have context. Okay. Um, Once we have context, we can send it over to GPT-4o. I'm not going to use GPT-4o Vision here. I'm going to use Gemini because it can do the exact same thing. So we can upload those photos to Gemini and let it come out with a description. Okay. Sorry. We are going to send that context to Gemini to we're gonna send that to Gemini, but we're also going to include reference thumbnail. Okay, so this is a thumbnail that you maybe want to replicate. So let's say you go to YouTube here. Um, you go to YouTube, okay, and let's say you want to replicate this thumbnail. Okay, you take a screenshot of it, and you should be able to essentially upload it to this application, let it study it, and give you the exact same thumbnail, but instead of maybe his face, you can replace this face with your own. Maybe you can swap the face with your own, swap the text with something that is relevant to your video. So basically, you can replicate this. You can replicate this and put it out there, charge cheaper, or use it for your own. Um, for your own YouTube. So we're gonna have face photos feature, which is gonna be able to take the reference thumbnail and then swap the faces, so you can have as many references as possible. You, like this complex. This is a bit of a complex thumbnail, right? Because we have the reaction phase, we have other phases within the thumbnail. Okay, so you should be able to upload multiple uh, faces, you know, um, and it should be able to put all of that within the thumbnail. So we now get all of this and generate a prompt from that. And then the prompt is just going to be a detailed prompt that is going to include a reference images, and then we upload those to we upload those to Google Gemini um, to get our final thumbnail. So that is what we are going to be doing. Yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing today. And what are we going to be using to build all of this? Um, yeah, and the last part I forgot to mention is after that is image is generated, there's a text overlay, and then we get a response back. What are we going to be using to do all of this? Um, so we're going to be using Next.js for our front end. Okay, to build our front end, we're going to use Zoostan Store for basically handling for basically handling for basically handling all of the data and caching them on the front end. And in the back end, we're going to use Python. Okay, and this is going to handle the YouTube API. Um, we're going to use Gemini AI Studio to communicate with Gemini AI. Um, yeah, so basically front end, back end. You know, um, so let's begin. I'm going to use an anti-gravity here. So I'm just going to fire up a new window. Okay. We're going to use anti-gravity, and I'll probably use Gemini for the front end element because I believe it's the best when it comes to website design. Gemini outshines everything. So I'm just going to create a new, just going to go here and create a new term maker. Okay. And fire it up. I'm going to open up the terminal. And it looks like, yeah, we're not going to be able to have access to because so I'm just going to use Claude. So I'm going to summon Claude. And if you're not familiar with Claude, Claude code is just the better code. It's just the better code. How do you call it? It's just better coding. It's just the best code model out there. It's able to do all types of complex tasks. Like, as you can see, this is going to be a complex application. So we are going to need something that is going to be able to handle. It's going to handle YouTube API. It's going to handle Gemini AI. Like, and if you want to build authentication into the application as well, like integrating Click, um, those are complex processes. Database, those are complex processes. Claude is able to handle all of those flawlessly. So I'm going to create a file here and call it, um, let's say, implementation plan. Implementation plan. Okay, that MD. Okay. And before this stream, I did a bit of some research already. And, I'm just going to paste that here. And this basically includes instructions on, what it's supposed to do here. Like, for instance, like I said, prompting is like the bread and butter of the application. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and say, uh, please review the implementation plan. It has everything we need to build a thumbnail creator, application. But instead of using GPT-4o to analyze reference images and uh, face photos to get detailed descriptions for the prompt, I want you to stick with Gemini AI. Okay. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? I also want you to study this prompt, which I have used to generate thumbnails in the past, and I want you to use it as the model for making the prompt. Okay. So I'm just going to leave this there and then go back to this and then copy this, okay? So that it would, it would use it as a reference, okay, to generate a prompt. And I think we should be good. So come out with a plan that we can begin to implement, okay? And I'm just gonna press enter and we're just gonna wait, okay? Just gonna wait for it to for Claude Code to come out with an implementation plan. If you're new here, leave a comment. Please like the video, okay? If you find this valuable, please give it a thumbs up, okay? So we're just gonna wait for Claude Code here to come out with a plan, and it's coming out with it's reading from the implementation plan, and it's going to come out with a new plan that we can basically implement. And the reason you want to do this is most of the time you want to create a what you call a PRD, and a PRD is basically before I build actually, let me backtrack. Before you build an application, you have to do a bit of research, okay? So you go to Google. I like to use Google because it would give you the most detailed information, okay? So you go to Google, do some research on, and then just brain dump your idea, let it come out with all types of ideas on how to tackle it. And once you come out with that, you ask it to give you a PRD, and then you carry that PRD over to Claude Code and ask it to come out with a plan to implement, okay? So okay, the prompt generator flow, okay? Face photos, your headshot, lady, gentleman, reference thumbnails. Okay, so it looks like it's already getting. The prompt I gave you was an example, okay? But we want to adapt this to different types of thumbnails, okay? The user will be providing you with a thumbnail to reference. You're going to study it, get a detailed description from that thumbnail, okay? Just like the example prompt that I provided you, extract the details from it, use it to generate a new thumbnail. The user is also going to be providing face photos, also extra details, instructions, or detailed instructions from those face photos. They could be multiple. Use those to create a new prompt that we can send over to Google Gemini, including the reference thumbnail and the face photos that can be referenced to come out with a completely new thumbnail. Okay. I didn't like the plan it came out with, so I'm just gonna give it a bit more context because it was just a bit too specific with the thumbnail example I gave it. So it's always important to read through what Claude Code comes out with. Like, it's always important. User uploads face photos, headshot, reference thumbnail, optional style match, video URL, or custom prompt. Okay. Gemini analyzes each image. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Okay. Okay. So user uploads a reference thumbnail. Gemini extracts detailed instruction analysis, like your example prompt. Yep. Text. Yep. User uploads face photos. Gemini describes each person in detail. User provides optional instructions, additional customization. Combine everything into a rich prompt. Send to Gemini. What just happened? Send to Gemini along with the reference thumbnail and face photos as image inputs for generation. So it's revised the plan. This is what it looks like. Reference thumbnail, which is required. Yes. Face photos, one or more. Yep. Additional instructions, optional. Yep. General analysis phase, extras layout panels, subject positioning, expression, lighting, setup, color palettes, textile, visual elements, arrows, icon, background style, face analyzer for each photo, ethnicity. Yep, yep, that is correct. And then it composes a prompt, combines reference structure analysis, phase description, okay, user additional instructions, technical specs. Yep, to YouTube thumbnail style. That makes sense. Gemini image generation. Yeah, so that looks good so far. Um, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good to me. Um, yeah, that looks good to me. So I'm just gonna ask it to go ahead. Um, so what are we going to need here? We are going to need Google Gemini API, okay? Google AI, um, AI, so Google AI Studio API, okay? So we are going to need, so if you go to Google, um, my usage is, okay. And then if we go to API keys, um, we can create new API key. Okay. So I'm just gonna create one on the side. But this is how you can create a Google API key. And I will stick with Google API here because it's just much cheaper. So it's gonna create these backend services front end. That looks good to me. Um, yeah. So it's created these folders, backend and front end. Um, okay. Hey, yes, you can. Where did you go, man? Um, no, where'd you go? And thanks for joining, by the way. Thanks for joining. So we're just gonna wait for this to work. It's gonna take some time, um, and we should begin to see some results. Okay. Um, no, we should begin to see some results. So yeah, it's amazing where we are at now when it comes to image generation, like image and video generation. It's crazy where we are at the moment. 2 years ago, images were not as good. I don't know if anybody uses what's it called, Midjourney, but I used to use Midjourney a lot, and Midjourney used to come out with images, and sometimes three fingers, five fingers, you know, um, and it's just a lot way better now. Like it's able to get the finger engineering correctly, and even with videos, the motion and everything. And I've just been, really, really interested in, that aspect of, AI, the multimodal aspect of AI that is able to, generate and, um, transcribe images. You'll be able to tell what it sees in videos. This is going to be huge going forward because we are going to be able to develop much, 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 much better systems on top of these, and everybody's just gonna just benefit in general. Um, can you? Okay, so it looks like my screen here is frozen. Is this thing frozen? Um, But yeah, so we're just gonna wait um, for it to be done. And whilst it's doing that, I'm just gonna go to Google AI Studio, like I was saying, to um, to generate a new API key. Okay. Create API. Oh, the second thing we are going to need as well is the YouTube API. Okay. So we're gonna need Google AI API key. The second thing we're gonna need is YouTube API key as well. So the user should be able to upload a YouTube URL, which would then get downloaded. Okay. So um, we're just gonna go there. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go to YouTube API key, and this is just gonna take us to the Google Cloud service. Okay. Um, you need a Google account. Okay. We need to go to the Google Developer Console. I'm just gonna continue. Okay. Okay. We are logged in. And the way this works is I already have one set up here, but the way this works is you're gonna come here, go to new project, and just define your project thumbnail creator. Okay. Um, make sure you select all of these. If you have an organization, put one there and then create. And you're gonna come here, and then you're gonna come to credentials. Okay. Once you come to credentials, okay, actually make sure you select the correct one. Once you come here, you come to credentials, and this is where you're gonna create a new API key. Come to create credentials, API key. Okay. And it just generated an API key that I'm about to delete in a second because uh, okay, so you copy this and then you can take that um to your .env file. So I'm just gonna delete this because I don't want someone else just stealing my um I don't want someone else just stealing my key and using it. Uh, okay. So once you generate your API key, you also want to do something else. You want to come to enable APIs and services. Okay. And once you come here, enable APIs and services, click here, and then come all the way down here to where it says YouTube Data API. Click here, and then click enable. And then this is going to enable you to be able to use that API key to make requests to YouTube. Okay. If you do not do this step, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to get any data from the YouTube API at all. So we want to, so remember, want the user to be able to copy a YouTube video URL, come and paste it so we can analyze or get a context and then use that to generate a thumbnail. So you need to make sure this is enabled. Okay. So we've enabled this, and that's it. That's all you need to do in the step. Okay. Um, you know, yeah, that's all you need to do in this step. So let's just go back to Gemini and see where we are at. Okay. So it's asking to make a directory. Yes, let's continue. Okay. So once you do that, you want to come here to the backend, create a file called the env. Okay. Um, I'll actually show you guys in a second, and I'll paste that in there and and probably swap it as soon as I do. So um, okay. If you're new here, please hit the like button. Okay. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section and I'll do my best to answer. All right. So, um, okay. So localhost 800 is that where this is going to be running at? Yeah. If you have any questions so far, if something doesn't make sense, just leave your comments in the comment section. And if you're new here, please hit the like button. Damn, we're almost 40 minutes in. Um, okay. Um, and also tell me where you're from as well. If no, if you're not, I'm in the United States. If you are from another part of the world, just say where you are from. I think the last time we streamed, we had Bangladesh in the building. Okay, um, I can tell they like to learn. Okay, people in the US don't want to learn anymore. We don't want to. No, nobody wants to learn anymore. Uh, but I just want to go back really quickly and see what the prompt it came. Analyze this YouTube thumbnail to a thumbnail in extreme detail. Okay. Okay, that's good. Analyze this face photo in detail for use in AI image generation. Okay. And I want to see what a final thumbnail, compose generation thumbnail, combine all analysis into a detail generation prompt, maps faces to position based on reference structure. Okay. Okay. So the prompt generation is going to be dynamic here. It's not just going to be static. It's going to be dynamic basically based on the references that have been provided to the references that have been provided to it. Okay. So okay. So let's wait for it to do its thing. Let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. Okay, so this is where we are. Okay, so the thumbnail generator application is now complete. Here's a summary of what we have built. Okay, the back end, okay, that looks good. The front end, components, face, photo uploader, okay, generate button, okay, that looks good. To run the back end, these are the instructions. Open localhost 3000, okay. Okay, I'm just killing other applications run on my computer, so we do not run into any issues when we are running this. Okay. Um. So, but before we're able to run it, we need to set up a few things. Okay. We need to create a .env file and then paste our Google API key. And then what else? What else? What else? Google AI API key. Is that it? Um, I think that's it. Hmm. So we need to go here, which I already did. So I'm just gonna do this on the side. Okay. I'm just gonna do this on the side. Um, okay. I'm going to do this on the side. So okay. So 1 second. So we need to go here. Okay. So first need to go here. And I'm basically following this URL that it provided, okay, which is uh, so I'm just gonna go to this URL, okay, which is this one right here, and I'm gonna reload. And like you can see, I already created thumbnail generator. I'm just gonna copy this, okay. Come back here, and then we need to go to here, duplicate this file, okay. So there's no duplicate, okay. So I'm just gonna copy, okay, rename this to that env instead of that env example. Just rename this to that env, okay. um and what should be there is requesting for the Google AI API key, and I can go back here, copy this, okay, um and then paste it right here. Okay, save that, and we should be good to go there. The next thing is to open up a terminal and run these commands. We're gonna run these commands. Okay. All right. So copy this. Let's try Python 3. Okay, and that works. Okay, that works. We then activate them. We then have to activate the virtual environment. Okay, so I'm gonna run this command. Okay, that is activated, and then we got to install dependencies. Okay, those are installing, and then once we done, um, oh, we could have run this command to just create that env file, but we already did that. So what we just need to do is to run this. command. Okay, and this is just going to fire up the backend server. Okay, so that looks like things are running smoothly. Are they? Okay, it looks like it. Now we need to do the front end. So I'm just going to copy this, open another terminal. Okay. All right. Do npm install to install all dependencies, and then run npm dev. So it is running dependencies right now. Yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment. Uh, and I'll do my best to answer. So npm run, and what is going on? It looks like we already running into some error. So I'm just gonna copy this error, go back to Cloud Code, and just paste the error. Okay. Okay, so it's done. Let's try running. Run the command again. Just gonna clear npm run dev, and we are in business, guys. So if we go to localhost 3000, if I come here and go to localhost 3000, look at that, guys. Look at that. Um, you know, just in a few moments, we able to, be able to have an application. So I'm gonna go here and let's see, where am I at? Let's go to my channel, view my channel, okay? And let's go to videos, and I'm just gonna copy. Um, let's copy this. Okay. Uh, so it left out one thing, guys. It left out one thing. It left out the ability to analyze a YouTube video and generate a thumbnail based off of that as context. Okay, so we're going to come back to that, but I want to test this out really quickly. So the first thing is reference thumbnail. We want a reference thumbnail, and I'm just going to use a reference thumbnail here. I'm just going to use this reference thumbnail, okay, of my guy Jack Roberts here, okay, and we want to swap his face with mine, okay. So let's see. Uh, let's see. Let me go find an image of my face. Found one right there. Okay, so this is an image of my face, and additional options: add text overlay, number of generations, and let's hit generate and see what happens. Let's open up the inspect panel because it's always important to see what is going on. So far it looks like everything's going as expected, but we would come back and fix the bug. Okay, we should be able to analyze an already existing YouTube. We should be able to analyze it, grab comment, and use that as information for building out a thumbnail. Okay, so let's go to backend. Okay, so it looks like just in one shot, we are getting somewhere, guys. Just in one shot, no errors. This is the first time I think I've built an application and I didn't have to run into any errors. And thanks to, what do you call it? Thanks to Cloud Code, man. Like I'm telling you, Cloud Code is so powerful. Um, It's able to do a lot. Like, oh, look at that, guys. Look at that. See, it hmm, okay, okay. So it, I cannot be mad at it. I cannot be mad. I cannot be mad at it. I cannot be mad at it. Okay. Anti-gravity skills. I cannot be mad at it. It could be better. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. What can we do here? Let's tell Cloud Code something. Okay, so I think you forgot one part. We want to be able to grab a YouTube URL, paste it, um, paste the URL, want to analyze the video, get the context from the video, and that context and information should be used in generating the thumbnail. Now we also want to pick the text overlay from what we got from the transcript as well. So and it has to invoke curiosity. What else? What else? I feel like there was something else we were missing. Um, is there something else we were missing? I think that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay. Okay. That's it. All right. Let's go grab a different maybe thumbnail. Let's go find a different thumbnail. Let's go to home. Let's find a different thumbnail. Let's okay. Let's let's upload that as a reference image. Okay, we are still gonna use my face, but I'm going to what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use these faces from Pop the Ball, and let's see what it comes out with. At the same time, Cloud Code is still making the changes we requested. Um, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer. But we are basically building a thumbnail creator. Okay. Um, there's a lot of solutions out there that charge a lot just for you to generate a thumbnail. Okay. And we want to provide our own solution. Okay. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you're eating at a restaurant, you're like, damn, I could have cooked this at home. That's not that different from what I cooked at home. The reason why you go to a restaurant is you want to go eat something different from what you are used to. Um, let's see. Did it come out in the result? It looks like it failed. Okay, so it looks like it failed. So I'm going to copy this error. And like I said, we are also going to need the YouTube API. So if we go to YouTube API key, go here, go to Google Developer Console. Okay. Um, and then you create a thumbnail creator. We already did that. We can go to credentials. Okay. We can go to credentials and then um we can create API key. Okay. Now we can copy this and we are gonna need this in a second. We're gonna need this in a second. So over here where it says over here we are gonna say YouTube YouTube API key here. Okay. All right, and it's done. Um, okay, so let's run the backend again. All right, so it looks like we are running into some error. So I'm just gonna paste that. Let Cloco fix it. Okay, so we need to install pip YouTube. Okay. Okay, so we need to run this again. All right, so that's what we were missing. I'm just gonna clear this. And I'll run the backend again. And that is running. I'm just gonna go back to okay. So now we have a YouTube URL. So I'm just gonna come back here to my channel, go to videos, and now we can copy this. Okay, paste it here. Why does it say analyze? I don't need to. I don't need it to analyze. I want it to. Okay, so I like what it did here. How to make websites feel 10 times better. Recommended. Okay, emotion, intrigue. Websites feel better. Secret website trick. I think I like this. Okay. So it's going to use that as a overlay. I already like this already. Okay. And let's go find uh okay, let's go find a YouTube you know, let's go to coding, website building, website building. Let's go replicate a thumbnail out there. Hmm. Let's see, website design. Let's do website design. Okay. Ooh, I like this thumbnail. Or even this one. Okay. So I'm just gonna copy this thumbnail right here and use it as a reference. Okay. So copy it, come back here, okay? And then for the face, okay, and hit generate. So the way you would want to, this is, of course, this is just for learning. If you're new here, please hit the like button. If you find this valuable, please hit the like. The way you would make money off of this, they need to sign up before they use your application. And second, once they sign up, you have pricing tiers that you can, unlock. Like these guys, they have startup pro business. You can have your own pricing tier that allows a certain generations of thumbnails per month based off of their subscription plan. And the way you do that is by using Stripe, you know, um, is by using Stripe. Okay, and look at that. Look at that, guys. Look at that. It didn't get everything perfect. Perfect. It did not get everything perfect. Look at the original. Um, and it replicated the original here as well, which isn't what we asked, but it it did a good job here. Like, not bad here at all. Not bad. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Not bad at all, guys. All right, guys. I'll leave this here. But if I wanted to make this better, I would, I'll put authentication using Click. It makes it easy to integrate into Stripe and then have different pricing tiers so people can sign up for your application and use all of the different pricing tiers so they can unlock all of the different features that you can build into this. Okay. Um, this is how that will work. I'll leave this out in the GitHub repo. I'll leave the repo URL in the comments. You can go download it, use it, you know, and let me know how building is going. This is it, guys. This is day 2. Till the next time, it's peace.